Yeah, I've had two really big dips in my career where I've gone from making a lot of money to next to nothing. Yeah. But my theory in life is every single time things are tough, once you overcome that, on the other side of toughness is greatness. And I want to give people strength and inspiration to be able to go out there and follow their hearts and achieve what they want to achieve. And when it gets tough, not to give up. Everything's too comfortable. Yeah. And comfort breeds complacency, and it doesn't breed success at all. I just want to be able to live with more discomfort so my resilience goes up.
Do you think going all in helps?
It's the only way you can do it.
It's the only way.
There is no other way.
Yeah. Hello, welcome back to the Extra 5% podcast. I am Reese, your host, and today I am joined again by Gilles. I've really loved the podcast recently, and today we're going to be diving into who Gilles is off camera and who he is behind business as well. What drives you now, and is it the same thing that kind of drove you from the start, or is it different?
What drives me now is completely different from when I started, because when I started, I was 21.
Young.
And I think your motivations change due to life changing, and your motivations change due to your age as well. And what I love about direct sales was the fact that you could change your motivation and the business can change with it. Yeah. So it's very moldable business. It wasn't like a square peg and a round hole. As my life changed and as I got older, I could definitely mold that with the business. So I'll give you an example. When I was 21, I just wanted to make lots of money, become a CEO, make $2-3 grand a week, and be, what every
the bee's knees.
The bee's knees, yeah, I guess what every 20-year-old wants to be. That was similar to myself. Now, although the money is a big motivator, it's now about legacy. It's about what I can create. It's about using my skill set. It's about seeing how far I can push myself mentally, physically, and really to see what I can achieve as a human being. So in your 20s, it was all about building businesses, making money, and just, living that life that I really wanted to live. The holidays, the fast cars, the watches, the lifestyle, the champagne. 30s was all about building a family for me. So buying a really nice house in a nice area and having enough money to send my children to private school, really lovely holidays with the family. Even little tiny things, like I really love my family being able to eat wonderful food 24/7. And just the sort of family orientated motivation. Then I hit my 40s and really you come into about what am I here for?
Yeah.
Like I've had my, teenage years.
Had your fun.
I've had my fun. I still have fun, but your fun changes. So it was like, you've grown up. Yeah. We'll call it that. You've grown up.
Peter Pan.
I definitely not Peter Pan with these wrinkles. I've had my fun and growing up. I've had my family, had my children, and they're obviously all over the age of 10. The family set up, the house is bought, the holiday home is bought, everything's, the holidays are there. A great lifestyle is there, which I really am proud of for myself, because that's what drove me in the field. And now it's all about what can I create? What am I here for? What's my purpose? What's my legacy? I've got a good circle of friends. I've got a great family. And now it's like, what can I achieve in business? How many people can I help? Yes. How many people can I positively affect? How many lives can I change? Now I'm on the planet. I'm like, what am I here for?
Yeah, 100%.
So I need to look at that and think, how can I make the world a better place in my niche? And for me, it's about giving hope, belief, and a platform for young entrepreneurs that love to get into sales to see what they can achieve.
Perfect. And I think that ties in really nicely with my next question is, obviously we know you're very family orientated and what you do is for your family. Is there a memory that's kind of stuck with you, with your family or with your wife, in between all the chaos? Anything that kind of sticks out to you over the years of building that business, but also trying to be a family man as well that's stuck out to you?
I think last night was a really wonderful moment in my life because I've just finished renovating a big 6-bedroom farmhouse with 7 acres, and it's on the beach, so we own beach as well. And part of the garden is walled. So it's like big 10-foot brick walls, and it's a really lovely garden inside, and it stops all of the wind. So it's magical. And it's on the beach. So at the front of the garden, there's a large patio with tables, chairs, and deckings, and where we have dinner. And last night it was 23 degrees. It was 6 o'clock. It was 23 degrees. The sun was splitting the sky, and we were having this chicken roast, and we were literally, on top of the beach, and it was just magic. And I just thought, all those no's, all those negatives, all those self-doubting, all those years, it's so worth it, because look at what you can do. And just to see the smiles on my children's faces, my wife was super happy, and it just made me feel, do you know what? Yeah.
It's all worth it.
It's all worth it.
That's lovely. I think a huge thing as well is like for young entrepreneurs kind of coming through, how do you balance, obviously you're very good at this because you've had to learn to, but how do you balance being present at home, but also obviously building that empire as well? How do you manage, and how do you kind of multitask both in a sense?
I think it's difficult. It's very difficult. The needle swings in family and then swings in business. The most important tip I can give someone is when you are with whoever you're with, be present.
Yeah.
So don't be with your partner and be thinking about work. Don't be at work thinking about your partner. When you're with your partner, think about your partner. When I'm with my children, I'm with my children. I don't have my phone with me. And if I'm playing basketball with my son, I'm playing basketball. Yesterday, I was playing tennis with my daughter. My phone was left in my car. I was playing tennis.
You're just fully present.
So just be present is really, really important.
I think a huge thing, Gilles, is obviously with success and people really kind of misunderstanding it is, what do people misunderstand about success and wealth? What do you think they don't get, or what do you think from your side that people don't quite fully understand?
What it takes.
Yeah.
What it takes. That's my answer. The other thing is that everyone can do it. It's a lot more simple to be successful than people believe. And I think because it's so simple, people miss it.
Yeah.
I think anyone can achieve whatever they want to achieve. They've just got to learn how to do it. And it is really, really tough at times. And it is also the best thing in the world at times. The work that needs to go in is so important. And I think, to answer your question, I would put it down to, if you fix, improve, upscale yourself, then, and you understand yourself, and you improve yourself, and you upscale yourself, and you educate yourself, everything else will become very, very easy. It all starts with you. And a lot of us sort of, we're blaming this and blaming that. And if you look within and you realize it all comes down to you, then the journey is a lot easier. So it's tough. It'll really, really hurt. And it all starts with you. And especially with this Generation Z at the moment, although that I believe they are the most powerful generation so far.
Yeah.
They want everything very instantly.
Yeah. 100%.
And that's their Achilles heel, is they're not willing to push through the harder times and persevere with patience to get to the end result. And that's the one thing I see a lot of Gen Zs doing, is they just give up so quickly, and they're so quick to judge, so quick to jump, stop it, sit in your train and keep.
They're like, how did I become a millionaire in a year? Like there's no long-term kind of focus.
No.
So
usually the longer it takes you to become a millionaire, the
more successful you are.
Yeah.
I think that also really ties in nicely with the next question is, once you reach that level of success, like some people just stop, they get complacent. You never did. And obviously working with you now, like every day it's like, what we're doing next, what's the next goal? And it's like, you never ever kind of get complacent. You're always looking for the kind of next step ahead. How do you do that? How do you have that mindset?
Well, my goals are big.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So we've got big goals to hit. And I understand, because this is through experience, that when the money stops, everything stops.
Yeah.
So, if you get lazy and then take your foot off the gas and the lifestyle will go down, and that scares me.
Yeah.
I always want the lifestyle to keep increasing, which means I need to keep increasing the money. I need to increase the size of the business. I need to get better at myself as an entrepreneur. So I think for me, it's about ever progressing. And I just get really scared that it's going to stop. The business is going to stop. The money's going to stop. The lifestyle is going to stop. It'd be a really big fear of me to have to turn around to the kids and say, you can't go to private school anymore. Not that that would happen, but at this level. But what I'm trying to say is, I take nothing for granted.
Yeah, that's one of your huge qualities.
Yeah, I've had 2 really big dips in my career where I've gone from making a lot of money to next to nothing.
Yeah.
And that really, where everything stopped, everything had to get sold, it was really bad, to the point where at one point, we would go and buy really, really cheap ingredients and make a big batch of bolognese and then put it in the freezer, and that would have to last, X amount of weeks. And that's all I would live off. One week I lived off Weetabix and bananas.
Terrible combo.
Which is pretty gross.
Terrible combo.
So I really appreciate what I
totally.
have.
Yeah,
I'm very
100%.
grateful for what I have, and I definitely don't take it for granted, and I understand it can change. So.
And I think people don't see that side to you very often. Like, people see you and they see the wealth and the success, and nobody really sees the obstacles that you've kind of tackled throughout your journey. So what would, obviously I know, but just for everyone else, like what would be one of your biggest stories that made you kind of realise that it can all be gone, or one of the hardest things that you've went through as well, just so people fully understand that you're not just this successful man, that you work hard and that everything you do, you kind of take pride in it as well.
Well, there's lots of stories. So
44 years worth of stories.
Yeah. So the last one was the energy crisis.
Yeah.
When the war between Ukraine and Russia started, which obviously had a huge effect on the energy wholesale prices of energy, of gas, which basically shook and turned upside down the energy market in the UK. We had 750 people across different platforms selling for us in energy, and it basically got switched off overnight. And even then, I was doing very well, and overnight, I had to find a solution very, very, very quickly. And thankfully, over a matter of weeks, we did. But if I hadn't gone through the previous ups and downs, I think I would have found that way more difficult and may not have succeeded. COVID was huge. That was absolutely huge, when we had to transform everybody to home-based telesales. We had to think of that idea. We had to get it signed off. We had to make it work. We had to figure it out. That was really, really tough. And, we had hundreds and hundreds. I wish hundreds of thousands. Hundreds of
money.
Hundreds of people working for us at that time. And some which were self-employed, some were employed, all very loyal. And they had mortgages and rents and people to feed and kids. And I take it very, very seriously. So in both those situations, we had to find a solution really quickly. So the energy crisis, we got a telco client, and I lived away from my family for 153 days. Used to leave every Sunday afternoon. I'd put them in front of a Disney movie, and I would go down the road to Manchester and Newcastle, and I got energy going.
Yeah.
So not energy going, I got telco going.
Yeah, I remember. I just started in the business then.
Yeah.
I remember that, yeah.
So I had to go and lead from the front. No one else was doing it, so I had to do it.
Yeah.
And I take great pride and pleasure in doing that.
Yeah.
And leading from the front and going and making it happen. And then, telco was and it still is one of our biggest arms today. And then previously, in my earlier years, I had lots of ups and downs.
Yeah.
And there were 2. And one of where I went from, making a lot of money, and I lost my businesses. I had 2 businesses, and I lost them overnight. Not overnight, but I lost them pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I went from having a really good income to actually owing out almost £100,000. So as the businesses were declining, I was like, well, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay because I'm going to figure it out. So I kept borrowing money. And I think I got to £92,000 worth of borrowed money. And then my bank manager called me and said, I'm really sorry, we're not going to be able to lend you any more money. I couldn't get any more money anywhere else. All the staff just started leaving. I was left with all of the bills.
Yeah.
And that was the hardest time. So I went from doing very, very well to losing every business. So I had no ability to make money. I had no income coming in, and then I owed the bank £92,000. And then I had a few other debts as well, which weren't positive. And I remember the day it all sort of dawned on me that this is bad is when the bailiffs knocked on my door at 5:30 in the morning. Took my car, took TV, just took everything. I was just like, oh no, this is bad.
This is serious.
This is serious. And then the problem is I couldn't go out and sell. I didn't have anything.
Yeah.
So I had no ability to make any money. So luckily my wife was working, and we made it work. And that was the lowest point, because I owed a lot of money out. I had bailiffs constantly at my door. I had letters through the door. I had court actions through the door. It was pretty intense.
You're mid-20s, weren't you?
Late 20s.
Late 20s?
Yeah.
So I think now, like, obviously, everyone that we kind of work with and stuff, they are early 20s to late 20s. You got yourself out of it, but what kind of advice were you giving to yourself? What advice would you give to them if they were in that situation?
Well, it is tough.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So I think the first thing is observe and just understand that it is tough, and that's okay. Very hard to understand this at the time, but that's where you learn. Because not only do you learn mentally, you also learn physically that motivation, that oomph, that sort of like, I got to get shit done. You feel that, so you get a greater sense of urgency. You get a greater sense of appreciation for when you are climbing back up the way, what it's actually worth, and it could all go away. You become sharper, you become smarter, you become more wise, you become more experienced. And the lower the depths you go, the more you realize what you're made of, and the more you realize you don't want to be this low. And it's a pretty horrible feeling. So I think just to understand that you are feeling low, and it's okay. Yeah. And then you really need to be able to speak to people, listen to podcasts, think, take notes, and figure out how you're going to get back as quickly as possible. But it's worth it. Everyone that quits forever. Yeah. There's a thing called resilience, which will help you in life. And resilience is your ability to deal with situations, good, bad, ugly. And if you quit, you will never increase your resilience muscle. Yeah. It'll always stay low. And as soon as things get tough, you'll just jump ship. But my theory in life is every single time things are tough, once you overcome that, on the other side of toughness is greatness. And if you don't have the ability to get over the toughness, then you'll never experience true greatness. And I understand true greatness will make you so happy, so proud, so everything. But you have to understand that you don't get that for free. Yeah, 100%. It makes you stronger every time. Yeah. So, yeah, love that. So out of all the years of you on the field, or obviously starting a business, what's the one story that's most embarrassing, the most funniest story? Come on. Well, obviously that was a long time ago. That was obviously 20 years ago. Long time ago. Well, not that long. I think I still get embarrassed when I mess up with my team and they know I've messed up. That's obviously embarrassing. Yeah, but you're a human being. Yeah, I think if you don't fail, this is really important for everybody. If you don't fail because you're not trying hard enough, and they who don't try hard enough are never going to achieve anything. So if you're always in trouble and you're always pushing the boundaries and you're always, failing or getting in trouble or messing up or slipping down or it hurts, that's good because you're pushing the boundaries. I think a story that I can relate to with everybody, which was obviously embarrassing, was my flatmate was we nominated him to be in charge of all the household bills. So I would give him my rent, my council tax, and my bills for the broadband or whatever we had back then. Home phone. Joking.
One of the big extension phones.
These big extension phones. So anyway, I was in the middle of the training room, and I got a phone call, and it was David, my flatmate, and he was like, "You've got to come home. We're getting kicked out. All your stuff has been wrapped up into plastic bags and hurtled down the fire escape." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "All your stuff has been thrown into big black bin bags and hurtled down the fire escape. You've got to come and collect them. We're getting kicked out." And I'm like, "But David, I paid you all the rent. Why are we getting kicked out?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Don't ask questions. Come and get your stuff." So I was like, "Oh my God."
Great flatmate.
So I had like 20 people on my team or whatever. And I'm like, "I'll be back in a couple of minutes." Because luckily I didn't live
Too far.
so I could run and be there in 5 minutes. So I came out of the office, ran home, and could see all these bin bags
Just lying about the place.
lying about on the street. Some of them on the street. And I opened one up, and there all my stuff was. And I was like, "This is really bad."
Let's just face it, you didn't give David the money.
I gave David the money, but he spent the money on gambling.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He spent it all gambling, thinking he could like double the rent. So yeah, anyway, the actual really embarrassing bit was I really fancied the admin. Had no chance. She was way older than me and way out of my league. But I remember going into her because she was the only one I could go to. And was like, "Can you look after these bags?"
With all your bin bags.
With all my bin bags. And
Shot, gone.
She's like, yeah, ick moment.
Activated.
And she's like, "What is this?" And she sort of like looked at me. She's like, "Oh my God, what is this?" And I'm like, "It's all my stuff."
Oh my gosh.
And she was like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I've just been kicked out. All my stuff's in."
Did she not give you somewhere to sleep now?
She didn't know. No. That ick moment blew it.
Oh, poor Gilles boy.
So that was pretty embarrassing.
Love that. See, you did have a story.
There you go.
Anyway, swiftly moving on. When was the last time you had no clue what you were doing? Just be honest.
Friday. I think if you're in a new situation that you don't know how to deal with and it springs upon me,
Yeah, 100%.
then yeah, quite often.
But I think it's just like, obviously everyone that works with you knows you. I think they forget that you're just a human being as well. And I don't think you give yourself enough credit for that. And we don't know what to do sometimes. It's okay not to.
Yeah.
And I think it's good for someone else to know who's coming newly through the business or just to open up their own city that nobody really knows what they're doing.
No. I think the best thing you can do is prepare and network as much as you can, but there's
100%.
always going to be conversations and situations that are really quite difficult for you to understand and you don't know how to react and you've just got to give it your best shot with what you know.
Yeah.
But what I do is I always go and research after it.
Yeah.
So we had that situation on Friday. I went and researched it and I found a much, much better way of dealing with it. So next time that happens or something similar, I'm going to know how to deal with it.
Yeah,
So yeah,
100%.
it's always learning, always progressing. Life's about ever progressing.
Yeah.
So you've got to always progress. The day you stop learning is the day you go
Backwards.
heavy.
Boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love that. That's quite a deep question. What's your biggest insecurity throughout the full journey? What's been your biggest insecurity? Or your biggest fear?
Just not good enough
Yeah. Why?
because it's tough.
Yeah.
Because my goals are big. Because I'm just a human being like everyone else. Lots of, you're a human being,
Yeah.
You're not a robot. Lots of squidgy little things in there,
Is there stuff in there?
Oh, not much. So, yeah, just not good enough. I think, it's also what motivates me.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's good for people to know that obviously everyone's got an insecurity and
yeah. I just try. You've just got to try
yeah.
and not give up. Yeah, the same. Obviously, I'm a lot more confident, a lot more wise, a lot more experienced now, but still, am I good enough? How do I get better? I think it changes, it does change over time. Like, I don't wake up now and think, oh my God, am I good enough? I'm like, how do I get better? Like, what do I need to do to improve? So I'm all get frustrated about mistakes that I make. But yeah, you always still have insecurities. I think that's completely normal.
Yeah. Just motivates you to be a better person every single day.
Yeah, they say the actor that never gets butterflies, before they start acting is not at his prime anymore.
Yeah. You're in your prime still?
Huh?
You're in your prime still?
I'm just getting to it.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the next 15 years because I had this notion of retiring and I just think it's meaningless to retire.
You could not sit in the house all day.
No.
You could not sit in the house all day.
No.
You'd go insane. I think so would Nicola.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think, you've just got so much to give. So it's time to start giving and changing people's lives and trying to make a difference. And, I just know that, making a difference for me is making people successful through direct sales that didn't have many options and found direct sales and became a success and changed their life. That's how I'm going to give back to the world. And I think that's pretty powerful. Yeah. And that gets me out of bed. As you know, I've got ADHD. I'm also dyslexic and I was written off a lot. I personally wrote myself off at times. A lot of society, writes you off. You've got ADHD and you're this and you're that and you're dyslexic. You can't read or write. And I have a real passion and desire to reach out to people that have these superpowers and say you can do really, really well. And you can become super successful and you can achieve beyond your wildest imaginations. And let me show you how to do it. Yeah. That's your
superpower.
I love that.
And I think it's also like I tell you all the time, you see the good in everyone. How do you do that? Like, it's for me who sees everyone's worst features in some senses. Yeah. You see the good in everyone and you just want to help them succeed. What makes you like that?
I think the journey that I went through, if you'd met me at 21, most people would have written me off. And I know people can change. Yeah. And I know if I can try and help 10 people, one's going to succeed, and that's okay for me. So if I can help 100 people, 10 will. If I can help 1,000, 10, 100 will. Good always trumps evil.
Yeah.
You just got to keep moving forward. And I think everybody deep down wants to do well and wants to do things properly. And if I see the good in them, then they'll see the good in themselves. And if I see the good in them, then that'll motivate me to help them. If I see the bad in them, then I won't want to help them. Yeah. And nothing's going to get done. So I'm a big thinker. I'm a visionary.
Yeah, you are.
So I will see somebody succeeding in 5 years. Yeah. So somebody in the office that does really well, I'll be like, God, imagine this person when they're...
Yeah, you see long term.
Yeah. Long term's everything.
100%, yeah. It's one of your best
People
qualities.
Can change. People want to change. Yeah. We've just got to change the way people think and help them hit their goals.
And I think, obviously working with you now for a few years, I think it is.
2 years.
2 years. Lifetime. I think this is probably the best version of yourself, just with how close you are with everyone, you're really taking time, you're really researching on yourself to be kind of come in with relationships and stuff and really kind of fit into the Gen Z type of things we like to call it. How do you think that affects or impacts the kind of day-to-day in the business then, with you really researching on yourself to kind of building into that relationship building with the guys?
Well, so I'm essentially the leader. So the better I can lead people and help people succeed, the better everything's going to be. So I try and be the best entrepreneur, the best human being I possibly can be, and I work on that every day. So hopefully I can lift myself up and move it forward every single day. The better I manage people, the better I lead people, the better they're going to be. The business, the better the business is going to be. If I'm not good at what I do and I don't manage people and I block them, we're not going to get anywhere. Yeah. So do I wish I was 35 and knew what I knew now? Yeah, of course. 25, well, I think that's pretty rare. 35, of
dangerous.
course. Huh?
25 and knew what you know now. Dangerous.
That would be a bit, yeah. But 35, yeah, of course. Did I wish I had that energy of a 30-year-old and knew what I knew now to go and build a business? Yes, but I don't. But what I do have, and this is always really, everybody's always like, I wish I did this and I should have done that. And they're always, affected and held back by the past. You can't change the past. Yeah. But one thing you can change is the future. Mm-hmm. And I'm really, really happy at the moment. Like I've really taken that on in the last sort of 10 years is I can't go back to when I was 35. I can't go back to when I was 25. But I am where I am due to the decisions and the actions that I made. And what I do have is I have an ability to be really active, really energetic, really enthusiastic, really motivated at 44. I don't see that dying down anytime soon.
Definitely not.
So for the next sort of 10 years, I could create massive success. And then a few decisions I make is like Gilles 10 years from now, what does he want Gilles to do now today?
Yeah, that's the mindset that you've got that trumps everyone else.
It's like, let's go.
Yeah.
Because let's say when I'm 50 or 55, I want to look back and go, wow, well done, Gilles, at 44.
Yeah.
That was epic. Because if you work hard and if you make the right choice now, life's going to be really easy and really fun when you're older. If you go for the short-term gain and you make quick decisions and you do everything for the now, usually in the future is going to be pretty painful and you're going to have to get up and sell again.
Yeah.
I don't want to be selling at 55.
Imagine knocking doors at 55.
Pardon?
Imagine knocking doors at 55.
It's not, well, I don't knock doors now. But I've got no problem to. If it all came crashing down, I'd just go back and do it again.
Right back
what else am I going to do? It's a wonderful business. It's a wonderful industry. There's so much in
opportunity. Yeah.
And it's what I do.
Yeah. So you are. So I think obviously coming through obviously the business and being young and obviously earning that type of money, or even recently, is there anything that you bought that was a luxury that we thought would make you happy but didn't?
I think that's a pretty powerful question. Your motivations change. Mm-hmm. And something I bought in my 20s won't motivate me now. Yeah. Something that I bought in my 30s wouldn't motivate me now. I bought lots of stuff in my 20s and 30s that I wouldn't even think about buying now. But at the time, it meant something to me, so that's okay. I just, I went through a period of buying lots and lots of stuff, and it made me happy for that period of time. Yeah. Did it make me happy long term? No, of course not. No, I don't think anything you buy makes you happy long term. Yeah. So life, for me, I look at life in 5 areas. So you got your health, your wealth, your happiness, your connections, and your experiences. Mm-hmm. So that's how I gauge my life. And a lot of my decisions are based on, am I going to be healthy? Am I going to be wealthy? Am I going to be happy? Have I got good connections? And is the experience going to be a good experience? Mm-hmm. And that's really what I base my life about. It's not really material possessions, although, I need to look nice. And I like to be in a comfortable car and in a comfortable house.
You love your cars.
I do. Although to me, I really base my life around those 5 principles.
So is there anything that obviously the wife and kids do that keep you grounded, or anything that they like to roast you on in a day-to-day in the life of Gilles?
Yeah, like every day.
Lots of things.
Yeah, every day. Like I've got to do the washing, I've got to do the dishwasher, I've got to tidy the house, I've got to do all my chores, I've got to do the bins. Last night I wasn't allowed to leave the house until I'd done all the bins. So
definitely wears the trousers.
Yeah. Like I was, I this sort of idea of you become successful and don't have to do anything. That's some other people's version, and how people do it. But I don't think there's anything wrong with doing the gardening and putting the dishwasher away, and you've got to keep the real principles there, because people around me, like my children, they mightn't be able to afford a cleaner or somebody to do all that stuff. And what example am I setting them? I'm just going to set them up for failure. So I got tickets to, is it Taylor the Creator?
Yes. And
I took my son to it. And he was like, come on, Dad. He wanted to be there very early, which is great. And then I came into the hallway and I was dressed in a pair of black trainers, pair of jeans, and a top. Actually, I think it was like a relatively similar top to this, a black T-shirt. And he was like, "Dad, you're so embarrassing." And that was the first "Dad, you're so embarrassing" from him. And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "No one wears jeans anymore, Dad. Have you not got a pair of cargos?" I'm like, "No, I'm really sorry.
Do you even know what cargos are?
Yeah, I do now, as I researched it." And then my wife came into the corridor and she's like, "Your dad looks fine. He's 44. He's not 18. You know, get a grip." I get ripped all the time.
Yeah.
But I rip back. Like, I like to sing in the street. I like to embarrass them.
You can't sing.
I know, but I sing in the street. I'll do all sorts of crazy stuff to embarrass them, but it's all about having as much fun as you possibly can.
But they'll remember that.
Yeah,
which is nice. Do you know what I mean?
I just love hanging out with my kids. Like yesterday, we had a big day. We had an hour of golf. We had an hour of basketball. We had an hour of tennis. And then we got them on their quads and their motorbikes for an hour. And, you know, we just did so much stuff together. Like, it's quite jam-packed.
Yeah.
We went on big walks and we just do lots of stuff together because it's experiences.
Yeah,
you can
time
take
is
them
precious.
to your grave.
Yeah, time is precious. That's what they will remember. Not obviously you working all the time, but what you do when you're not working is how you really fill their time with them. So
absolutely.
Love that. And then I think, not lastly, I have obviously a couple more questions, but what impact do you want to kind of leave? Like, what do you want to be remembered as, obviously in business, not just as a businessman, but as Gilles as well, on your legacy?
My legacy, I want to give hope to young people and that they can be successful. They can achieve what they want to achieve. You don't have to listen to, society. You don't have to follow society's rules. All entrepreneurs make their own rules up. I just want to give people hope. Yeah. I just want to inspire people. That's it.
I think you do that now,
but on a bigger scale. Yeah. We can do it at a bigger scale. Okay. I think that's really, really important to me because life's tough. And, when you're a teenager and, in your 20s, life can be really, really challenging. People have mental health issues. People are being pulled in the wrong direction by mums, dads, family, friends. And I want to give people strength and inspiration to be able to go out there and follow their hearts and achieve what they want to achieve. And when it gets tough, not to give up.
Yeah, love that. That's nice. And lastly, who is Gilles behind the mic? Who is he when he's not on camera? They're good questions, aren't they?
Huh?
They're good questions.
No, they're really, really great. They're very thought-provoking. I'm just the same. There's no facade. I don't know. I like to go barefoot. Yeah. I love to wear shorts, not trousers. I love to be outdoors a lot. I'm always outdoors. I love to exercise. I love to hang out. I love to hang out with my friends. I like to go and hang out with my kids and my wife a lot. I like to go on dates with my wife. I just like to experience life. I'm a bit of an adventurer, so I go on loads of holidays.
Yeah, where is it you're going?
Corsica.
Corsica.
Going to Corsica.
Lovely.
And Nice. This year I've been to Dubai already. Mm-hmm. I've been to Tenerife. I've been to Portugal twice. I've been to Italy. I got invited to Ferrari in Bologna. I'm going to Corsica. I'm going to go to France. I've got 2 more trips to Dubai.
He's a busy man.
Pardon?
He's a busy man.
Busy man. I've got another Portugal trip. There'll be 3 Portugal trips.
Portugal is so cool.
I've got another French trip into a festival, not a music festival.
Could you imagine you two-step?
In September. So yeah, I love venturing and traveling and holidays. I work hard and then I really like to go out and adventure and take people with me. That's wonderful.
You live life to the fullest.
You have to, because you never know.
Yeah.
Not being morbid, but I just want to get to my end of my years and my grandchildren are just like, I just want them to go, Grandpa, you rocked it. I'm like,
You
yeah,
smashed
I
it.
rocked it. I smashed it. Like, I didn't sit on a couch and just eat crisps all day. Do you know, I went for it.
Yeah.
You know, every minute, every hour, I just lived it. And when I have a weekend of me time, I had one ages and ages ago where I did nothing but watch TV and sleep. I felt terrible on Monday.
I could not imagine you just sitting
I tried it a
watching
long
TV.
time ago, but when I'm like out and about and doing stuff, although I'm tired, Monday I wake up and I'm ready to go. Like this morning I bounced out of bed and I had a really busy Friday. Went out with friends on Friday night. Saturday was extremely busy. Sunday was just mental with the kids.
Yeah, you feed off energy.
Yeah, and
You
I
live in chaos.
exercised all 3 days for 2 hours each day. I also took my daughter sprinting. We had such a big, 3 days. And I loved it. You've got to move.
Yeah, 100%.
You've got to circulate the blood. You've got to get the endorphins.
Yeah.
You've got to make an effort with people. You've got to make an effort in life. Make an effort. If you do, you will receive. If you do nothing, you won't receive anything. So the decision I do is, after I did what I did I regret that, or did I think that was a good decision? So I'll give you an example.
Friday.
So if I go in an ice bath, I don't want to get into an ice bath, really don't want to get into an ice bath. But after it, I ask myself, do I regret that, or did I think that was a good idea? Always a good idea. So what do I do the next day?
Go with Friday.
Go in an ice bath.
Yeah.
So
And I think that's also like, everyone knows that you're really fit. You used to be pro?
cyclist,
Yeah, pro cyclist. And obviously right now you are training for an Ironman, which
Yeah.
is really exciting. Big up Ironman.
Yeah.
So that's October, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do you balance, obviously, you train every day relentlessly
Yeah.
and you're in office every day,
Yeah.
morning, noon, night, then
Yeah.
family time. How do you balance, obviously, your training schedule as well? Because I think people use exercising as an excuse of, I'm too busy, can't fit it into my schedule, but you are living proof of jam-packed.
So as a dad and a family man, I really have to exercise just when I can.
Yeah, really release the stress.
Pardon?
Really release everything.
Yeah. So I usually, I just do it when I can. So I'll give you an example. Sunday, I had a 2-hour run, but the only time I could fit that in was a period where my children had a golf lesson.
Yeah.
So I went for a run for an hour, went back to the house, put the kids in the car, took them to golf, set them up with the golf pro, and then went and did another hour. Came back, got them, and then we all went out and played golf for an hour. So I'm just able to fit in my exercise when I can. But usually what I do is I wake up and do my morning routine, which makes me feel amazing and gets me to a 10 every single day, because you don't always wake up at a 10, right?
Yeah, never.
And then I do all my emails, my messages, my to-do. I get everything done on my phone before I leave. Then I'm at work, and I'm at work with you and all the guys and girls. And then I'm there until like 2 o'clock. And then I do my work from 2 till 4 or 2 till 3 or 2 till 5, however long it takes. And then I've usually got a window to go and exercise. So some days I could exercise. I could be on my bike for 4 hours. Some days I'll only have an hour. It really just depends. Sometimes I might wake up. Sometimes I wake up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And I can't get back to sleep. So I know I've got a 2-hour window to go do some exercise. And maybe sometimes I could do some in the morning, some at the night. Some days are really, really busy, but I usually have a schedule and a plan of what my day looks like and what my tasks are. And then I actually use ChatGPT to schedule all my exercise.
We love ChatGPT.
Yeah, it can schedule all my exercise. So I do as much as I possibly can with what I've got. And then I make sure that I'm always seeing my children in the afternoon, and I make sure that I always put them to bed as well.
Yeah.
So I get to have dinner with them. We do some homework together, and I can schedule in half an hour of that. If it needs to be longer, so a day where I don't have much exercise and don't have much work on, I can spend more time with them. So I'll sit and listen to my son play the piano. We'll go play the drum kit together. We'll go play football. We'll go play basketball. My daughter, I do a lot of running with.
Yeah.
And sometimes I schedule in, because my daughter does running every day. I'll schedule that in with my workout. So it's just sort of compromise and just getting it all done. But you can do it.
Yeah.
And I'm still in bed for 8 hours a day.
Yeah. You sleep like a baby.
Like a baby.
And obviously training for the Ironman, how is that mentally?
that's what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it for the mental challenge. I just want to see how far I can live with uncomfort for. I think we live in such a comfortable world.
100%.
Everything's too comfortable.
Yeah.
And comfort breeds complacency, and it doesn't breed success at all. And I just want to be able to live with more discomfort so my resilience goes up. So the reason I'm doing an Ironman is just to see how I can mentally train for it and mentally get through the Ironman. That's what I'm doing it for. I want to see how mentally far I can push myself and physically far I can push myself.
And to get a medal at the end.
And to get a medal at the end. And then you have to call me Ironman from then on.
That is not happening.
Yeah, I'm not Gilles after October.
Tony Stark.
It's going to be fun.
Great, love that. Who was Gilles before the money, before all the wealth, the success, and everything else?
I was just super, super eager to become successful. I just wanted to achieve in my field, whether that be cycling or whether that be sales. I was happy. I was excited. I was very enthusiastic. I loved life. I'm pretty much exactly the same person, obviously 20 years older. So whatever that means.
As I like to remind you.
Pardon?
As I like to remind you.
Yeah. Whatever that means. But I was just really, really eager to make myself a really great life.
Yeah. Love that. And what was your childhood like? I don't think we've spoke about that in the podcast yet. Like, what was it like?
Childhood was good. I was born in Australia in 1980. I got brought up in Brisbane, Australia. I had a good upbringing. I had, good family, good circle of friends. It was good. It wasn't, ideal at times, and it wasn't tough. We had food on the table every night, which is fine. My mum was very, very caring and loving, but always very, very strict. My dad was really strict. What shaped me, I think the biggest thing I can think of that really, really shaped me was, two things. A, I was never good enough because I had ADHD, so I actually got expelled in year 10. I was always told that I wasn't good enough. I was always told that I wouldn't be anything. I was going to be, like a loser in life. I was always put in the dunce classes. I'd one in year.
I don't know why I laughed.
It's funny. In year 9, I had to bring a card around with me, and all the teachers had to
sign it,
comment and sign it.
What was that for?
Just to monitor my behavior. But if you put an ADHD kid, a dyslexic kid, in a room for 40 minutes, what do you expect?
Yeah.
I just am not built for school.
Yeah.
And I just want to tell people that it's okay if you're not built for school. It's completely fine. There are so many things. You can be super successful, way more successful than anything's going to teach you at school. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
School is like a square box.
Yeah.
And if you don't fit that, it doesn't work for you. I do think that school's important to get the foundations of life. But I do, to read, just to write a little bit, to read a little bit, to do a little bit of maths, just to learn how to interact with other human beings and follow some form of a system. But I was severely ADHD and severely dyslexic, and I got told I was a waste of space all the time. And that really gave me a big chip on the shoulder.
Yeah.
And I was definitely the poorest kid in a nice school. So everybody had everything else that I didn't, and made fun of me because I didn't have what I had. It was pretty. I remember we went on a surfing trip. It's quite common in Australia. And you go on a surfing trip and everybody had the new wetsuits and new surfboards. This is embarrassing.
See, we had loads of embarrassing stuff.
Yeah, this is really bad. So I didn't have a wetsuit or a surfboard. So I borrowed a surfboard and borrowed a wetsuit of someone, and it was a fluorescent yellow wetsuit.
So you looked like a banana.
I literally looked like a banana. And everybody laughed when I came out of the changing rooms, like howling. But I needed it because it was freezing.
Yeah.
And they had like black walls.
Do you still have it?
Huh?
Do you still have it?
Framed. And my surfboard was like from like really old, like from the 60s. It was all yellow. It was like so old, it'd gone yellow. And I remember I was swimming along, and then this guy came up to me and was like, he grabbed hold of my surfboard while I was lying on it and was like, "What's that bit of foam you've got?" and pushed the surfboard underneath me. And then I was just sort of, I fell flat in my face in the water, and my body went down, but obviously my legs were still attached to the back of the surfboard, because the surfboard sort of, did an 45-degree angle, 90-degree angle. So I was lying on it. Then it was just my legs on it, and I went down, and my legs were stuck on it, and that was really awkward. And then they all laughed at me. That was pretty embarrassing.
Obviously, family's always been a huge thing to yourself, obviously going through the years, but what does it mean now? Is it different, obviously, building a family from when you first started, or is it still the same? Like, what does it really mean to yourself?
Family's always been a really, really big thing for me. I come from a really, really big family. Like, my mum was one of 7. And my dad, he was one of 3, still a reasonable sized family. I on the field, when I was building my business, and when I was getting good at sales on the field, what motivated me is I knew one day I would have children. And I knew, and I just wanted to be a successful father and give them a good life. That meant everything to me. I was like, I'm going to go and give these kids, a really great life. Then when I got into my 30s, 31, I had Lewis, and it was about building a life for him. So I wanted to live in the right area. I wanted to get him to go to the right schools. I wanted him to be really, really set up and have the stuff that, maybe I didn't have. I obviously had a great, childhood. I didn't go without too much. But I just really wanted to make sure I set him up for a really great future. And, Lewis is not like me at all. He's really smart, like he's straight A's at school, and he's a super intelligent, such a clever kid. I should see him play the piano and the drums, and he's just so smart. He can outmaneuver me in any conversation now.
Wouldn't be hard.
He's so good. He's the apple of my eye. I adore him, and I just want to make sure that I can, to build that life. Sienna as well, and thankfully they're more like their mum, a bit easier to manage than I guess I was. And now that they're in their Lewis is in his teens and Sienna's not far away. It's about, for me, it's about experiences and travel. I just love going away with them and taking them to different countries. They've been to so many countries and they're so young.
They love it.
Love it. I've just booked the next holiday. We're going to go to Hong Kong. We're going to go to Australia. We're going to get this 5-star class train across the center of Australia and go into the desert. So you sleep overnight when it travels, and then you wake up and you're in the middle of the Australian desert. And we're going to go to Singapore. I just want to take them around the world. And then at home, I want them to have a really good home life. I want them to eat good organic food that cost a fortune, private medical care. I just want to make sure that I really set them up for a great future. That means everything to me. So in my 20s, it motivated me because I knew I'd have kids. In my 30s, I had to build a life for them. And in 40s, it's all about continuing and obviously travel with all those kids around the world. That's huge to me.
Yeah, they'll remember that forever. They'll love that.
Hope so.
Yeah, they're so cool.
My goal is for them never to be too cool to come on mum and dad's holidays.
Oh, never. I would never give up a holiday.
Why would you?
Sienna loves it.
Loves it.
I think a huge thing, and obviously kind of relates to everyone as well. If younger self could see you now, if you could see your younger self now, what would you say to him?
Like, how old?
21.
21.
44 is good.
40 what?
44 is good.
I saw 21-year-old Gilles. And he knew who I was?
Yeah.
Okay.
You meet each other and you're like, hi.
I'd hug him.
Like, really hug him?
Hug him.
Okay.
Proper hug. And I'd say, everything's going to be all right.
Do you think you needed to hear that when you were 21?
Yeah.
Why?
It's just nice.
Yeah. No, but do you think, like, obviously we work with young people. Do you think they need to hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know why. I think it's quite like it's to me it's so obvious why.
Yeah, no,
really
of course, like
explain it.
that's exactly what they need to hear.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it's said enough.
Everything's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay.
Keep progressing.
Keep pushing forward.
I would, I would sit Gilles down and put the worlds to rights with him. Mm-hmm. I'd tell him to meditate.
Yeah. If you meditated when you were 21,
I need to meditate. I'd tell him to meditate. I'd talk about ADHD with him. I'd talk about your dyslexic. I'd talk about how to learn properly. Mm-hmm. I'd talk him how to chill out.
just breathe.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I would do with him, but that's never going to happen. Mm-hmm. And
well, you never know.
You never know. Well,
technology.
Maybe try travel. But ChatGPT.
Younger Jill.
But I just think that, there's lots, but that's just life, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And I can't go back. I can only go forward. But I can change tomorrow. I can't change yesterday. Mm-hmm. And that's a really big thing with me. I see a lot of people getting, as I mentioned earlier, caught up with the past and regretting stuff. Some of them are only like in their 20s. And they're like, oh, I messed this, I messed up. I'm like, you've got your whole life. You're meant to mess up because it teaches you for the next time.
Yeah, if you don't make mistakes, then you can never learn from them.
I don't mean to be cringy, but I'll just say I lost a couple of 100,000 in the stock market. Mm-hmm. It was quite a lot.
Yeah.
Nearer to $500,000 than a pound.
Uh-huh. It's a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
And bang, overnight. And that wasn't easy for me to comprehend.
Mm-hmm. Of course not.
And after a while, I came to the realization that was meant to happen. Mm-hmm. So when I make even more money, I don't lose even more money. And I learned a huge lesson. Yeah. You can't change the past, but you can change the future. Mm-hmm. And everything that happens is to educate you about your future. Mm-hmm. So that's the way I look at things. And I hope that really helps people.
Yeah, I think it will. Lastly, last thing I want to ask, and I think it just really relates to everyone as well because it's a tough world. Have you ever felt like giving up?
Yeah.
What made you not give up?
Don't know.
These questions are good.
My way of coping is, of course I wanted to give up loads of times.
Yeah.
I
just think people nowadays, they give up so easily.
Yeah.
When there's so much out there and you're living proof of success and the waves and the roundabouts and everything that you've went through and you just didn't give up.
The way I cope with a lot of things is sleep. So when things are really, really tough, I just go to bed.
Yeah.
And I always wake up fresh in the morning, have my little morning routine, and then I go after it. And then, what has anybody ever achieved from giving up? Yeah. Is what somebody told me. You imagine if all the great entrepreneurs and inventors of the world gave up.
Be a rubbish world.
It'd be a rubbish world. And the reason why a lot of people aren't successful in the world because everybody gives up and finds a reason and justifies it to themselves for why they give up. And if you want what everybody else has, then do what everybody else does. If you want different things, you've got to do different things. That's the golden rule. So I knew I had to do different things. So I knew couldn't give up. I just pride myself on having a backbone. Mm-hmm. Pride myself up on. I just think in the world. Imagine if inventors, explorers, archaeologists, physicians, athletes, entrepreneurs gave up. Movie stars. You imagine if Arnold Schwarzenegger gave up. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on, what a gap in the world. Like,
literally.
Do you know what I mean? I just think, Can't give up.
Yeah.
Can't.
Would that be your biggest tip of advice to anyone starting out, to anyone going through the motions, to anyone that's struggling or finding it hard to be a successful young business person, just to not give up? Or do you have any other advice?
And listen to yourself. Don't listen to everybody else. Listen to you. If you can get out there and sell and you enjoy it, give it a good go. Don't listen to anybody else. Can't give up. I just when I had a tough day, I went straight to bed. Shower, bed, and I used to wake up in the morning and feel 10 times better.
Did you shower?
Did I shower? Yeah. I'm a big shower before bed person.
He's a clean freak.
I am a clean freak. I'm not a clean freak. I just didn't want to go to bed dirty with the day on. You don't want to go to the bed with the day on you. Ugh.
When did you start taking yourself seriously as a leader? Obviously going through the motions.
Yeah, never. Jokes.
What am I even doing sitting here?
Why are you even here?
Why am I even here?
Okay, why did you... I took myself seriously when I joined an office and the CEO's name was Michael. That's when I took myself seriously. I did door-to-door sales for 6 months in another office, and it wasn't a very serious sales office. And then I joined him to learn how to build businesses, and I built a team relatively quickly. And that's when I started to take myself seriously, is when I said, I want to build a business in sales. I want to create something really special and make lots of money and grow businesses. And I just went all in. So I just thought, I'm going to give it everything I've got and see if I can do it. So it was pretty early on. It was 6 months into my sales career when I went all in. I told my mum this is what I was doing. I asked for a 6-month grace period for not to come home and go and do environmental science at university. And she said, okay, you got 6 months. And I was like, right, I've got 6 months, let's go. And I just went all in.
Yeah. Do you think going all in helps?
It's the only way you can do it.
It's the only way.
There is no other way.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Gilles. I really enjoyed that. I hope that helped everyone at home. Thank you for listening to the Extra 5%, and stay tuned for more episodes coming soon.